sense.
Well, I'm glad we have that. Well, as we're now going to come into this game with the revelation of what ACDC's name really means, I feel better about calling him ACDC.
I agree, yeah. Clearly an homage. If it wasn't obvious before.
This is going to be a Neoplanet SLE. I really love this map. It is one of the new Heart of the Swarm maps. Looks like we're going to have in the left side of the map is going to be our Terran player. His name is dfraz. He is one game up.
And in the top right, our red Protoss player taking a hard loss in the last game. Can he pull out the next two to advance in the tournament? It is ACDC.
I'd really like to see a little more Oracle play come out of ACDC this game. I feel like that would be a little bit stronger, but we'll see what he comes out with. Terran obviously went with the largely bio army, which was very, very strong, especially with the utilization of upgrades on both sides.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar play from dfraz. He mentioned, I think, when we did the interview last night with him, that he tends to be a drop-heavy player. And so the bio definitely worked out well for him last time. We'll see if he will continue to utilize that strategy or maybe do a big switch into mech.
ACzDC now coming into dfraz's base to see what's up. That's a very early probe scout, likely coming right after the pylon as mentioned before last game. Same thing, he obviously feels comfortable when he knows what's going on, trying to harass that SCV building that barracks, but dfraz is right on that this game, but he does scout that he has the refinery going down. Protoss's assimilators going down as well as a gateway. It's like going to be pretty normal openings out of these guys. Gateway, pylons, gas. Interested to see what kind of builds we end up coming out with. This supply depot and barracks is going to be a little bit more timely this game, as he didn't run into nearly the harassment that he did last time. ACDC's probe coming up to check on the supply depots and see if there's any tech at the front. Just going to see a barracks producing a marine. As in ACDC's base, we are going to have a second gas going down as well as a cyber core. So probe going up to the third base to put down a pylon possibly. Either that or to pitch a tent on a little camping trip. dfraz's SCV perusing through ACDC's base.
Taking a stroll, seeing what he can see. Chrono boosting out a Zealot and followed by a Stalker.
Reaper is out now for dfraz, speeding his person self across the map. He's going to jump up on this cliff and see what he can see. As we talked to one of our Terran players after the last round, we were asking if what he felt about the Reaper as an engineering bay is going down at the natural of ACDC to block that expansion. What they felt about the Reaper as it's a little bit weaker now, but it seems like the consensus is it's just a good, cheap way to scout with, if you find an opening, you can do a little bit of aggression. But dfraz definitely does not want ACDC to expand here as he lets that E-base finish.
That was probably a misclick. I'm not sure that he wanted that to finish all the way.
He's going for the economy build himself. As he denies that, he's putting down a command center of his own in his base. 3 racks coming down, 1 with a reactor. We'll see if he decides to go for a tech lab to get some marauders or maybe just some early marines. There's a turret going down. Possibly he's a little worried about the Stargate play, even though we do not see a Stargate.
Or some of the DT play that we saw previously as well.
ACDC, though, opting to take the third base position as his second, since that engineering bay was in his way. He must have that expansion built pretty well into this build, looking pretty similar to the last game as he moves out with a mothership core and Zealot and Stalker.
But dfraz, smelling the ploy, has put down a bunker. It's about halfway done, and he's immediately going to dump those 4 Marines in there to ward off this attack.
Looks like that is going to be a pretty easy hold off once this mothership core gets here. Still surprised this probe hasn't put down a pylon. Warp gate is about half done. If he puts it down in about 10 or 15 seconds or so, he should be able to get that completed before warp gate's done. But it looks like ACdC is just going to decide to pull back.
Yeah, he didn't like what he saw there at the front.
It's a forge going down at the expansion of ACdC.
And we see robotics facility play again.
Interesting. Looks like he's going to maybe potentially want to put down a little bit of a wall here, not having the units to take down the rocks. But as that base is up, he has his mothership core there with lots of energy, so he can do a photon overcharge on that if necessary. It's like stim going down for dfraz, Marauders, Marines, factory going down as well, probably just to get to the starport as he largely used the factory for some mid-map scouting. 4 gateways now in production, 2 in production, 2 completed. Warp gate is now finished, and the robo facility, one of those gateways must have been a misclick because one was canceled, so it'll lose a couple minerals on that. Not a huge deal.
dfraz takes his natural with the command center that he built earlier and is putting down a bunker just to help defend it, and is getting a look at what is going on in ACdC's main.
It's like an Immortal coming out first this game instead of the Observer, which he did first last game. He's going to be just producing nothing but that Immortal at the moment, looks like, as this other gateway finishes up. Interested to see what kind of transition he tries to make, whether it's the Twilight Council to go for more of the Zealot Archon, or if he maybe tries to move towards Colossus. If dfraz continues to go bio, it would certainly be in his favor to go down the Colossus tech and get High Templar up relatively soon as he puts down 2 gas at his second base. I have a hard time calling this second or third. I'm not sure what to call it. The second base at the third base position, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Observer did pop into dfraz's base a little bit, see all the buildings, so he knows what he's up against. Pylon does go down on the left side mid.
Factory's crawling across the map trying to get some scouting done because he don't need it.
No mech for me. We've seen mech out of almost every Terran player this tournament so far, so it's interesting to see bio. dfraz in the game we casted yesterday went pretty heavy bio with lots of drops. So far we haven't seen too much of that. He did have one pretty potent drop last game, but it looks like he's gearing up for it as he's got 2 medevacs in production.
Which just finished, and it looks like he's mounting those units all together, grouping them up, getting ready for something. But he is continuing to scout with that factory. He wants to see if that natural has been taken yet.
Colossus now in production with the range. I'm sorry, that's not the range upgrade. With the +1 attack upgrade on its way. He does have enough gas and minerals now to get the extended thermal lance upgrade, but it looks like he's holding off on that in favor of another forge. Factory pops in to see what's going on. I'm not sure if he's able to see that robotics bay. He does not, so he's not sure if Colossus are coming out yet. Does have the observer at the front to see if any units come out as those medevacs head for the hills.
They are boosting because they have a plan.
And he just threaded the needle between that pylon and that pylon to be absolutely undetected. Picked the perfect path to send those medevacs on. So ACdC is going to have no clue what's coming. It looks like that mothership core is moving away. Hopefully it doesn't go away too far. As
Cannons have just gone down in that base, but it's not going to be enough because they will not finish.
Looks like
targeting down the forge that is powering a upgrade, and that goes down, so he won't be getting that.
dfraz with his +1 attack done and his +1 armor just getting underway. Looks like he just wants to keep his opponent's upgrades down as he's doing another drop at the would-be natural of ACdC, and he's probably going to load up here and just get out of dodge.
Sees those Colossus, gets up and gets out.
He does have that factory put in a very good position to see the movement of the Protoss army, and because he was forced to expand to this third base position, he does have to do a lot of movement between his main and his natural that he maybe wouldn't have to do if he had his actual natural as he goes and actually puts that down for a third.
Nearly losing that medevac because photon charge is still going on that Nexus.
That is definitely in the red there. dfraz putting down his third base right next to a pylon, so we'll see if ACdC notices that, which he does, so we'll see if he decides to warp in anything to harass that a little bit. So he's got a nice army here of the Colossus. Looks like +1 armor going down now as he's rebuilt that forge. Couple cannons. Still does not have extended thermal lance as he just starts it and chrono boosts it. Twilight Council tech also incoming.
Now we're seeing some Vikings in response to those Colossus, and we're also seeing Ghost Academy go down. It looks like he's going to try and get rid of some shields with some EMPs.
I think he may also sense with that Twilight Council tech. I'm not sure if he saw it. Let's take a look. He did not. So this is going to be totally intuition that he may suspect with the Colossus that there'll be High Templar coming out with those EMPs to deal with the energy on those.
And we do see a Templar Archives going down.
It's definitely a good play, I believe. He's just going to be a little late in getting that stuff up as this big bio army of dfraz is encroaching on his position quickly, and he just does not have a lot of units here. 2 Colossus, few Zealots, and few Stalkers. 3 Colossus now join the party, and he is going to come on in. Extended Thermal Lance is not done, so those Colossus are going to be in range, but he does end up cleaning up a good number of those bio units without losing any Colossus, so that was a great engagement for ACdC. dfraz is way ahead in supply count at 150 to 102, but I have a feeling that once Extended Thermal Lances come out, another Colossus in production, so ACdC is going to be trying to catch up. Lots of Vikings in production also to counter those. Marine Marauder Viking, Mobius Reactor coming down for Ghost Energy. Another small drop in the back of ACdC's second base, forcing those probes to stop mining for a moment. He's just not been able to get the upgrades going with those forges being sniped. +1/+1 now just going down, while Terran's is long been done, but he hasn't started his +2/+2.
Terran is opting to take the center gold. He's feeling pretty good about the position that he has.
ACdC is just now starting to get a few probes going at his third, which is his natural. Has not put down any gas yet. Does have a couple cannons down here to stop any drops that may come. dfraz has been a little light on the drops this game, I would say, as compared to previous games, but he's looking like he's in a real strong position now with +1/+1.
It looked like he was going to send one out, but he pulls it back to reunite with the main army, pushing up to the top.
ACdC does still have this observer here, so he is seeing all of the army movements between the bases as we see dfraz congregating his units, looking in a threatening position towards this second base.
ACdC is moving a single Zealot down to check for a fourth. He does not see one, and that's because it's gone down at the gold.
He's pulling all of his SCVs from that second base. I'm not sure what his plan is here, as he doesn't really have any units to repair unless he's just going to take those to suck up some damage so he can go for a game-ending push.
And that's what it looks like he's doing.
Those Colossus, though, are really going to do some damage to those SCVs, and they will not last long, so I have a feeling that he'll just end up losing a lot of workers. Storm is almost done. Does he have any Templar on the field, though? Let's see, he does have 1 Templar. He does not have enough energy for Storm yet. Looks like we're going to have the big engagement coming up here. The Vikings leading to try and snipe down those Colossus before they can do a lot of damage. Nice micro to kind of pull them back.
One Storm does go down.
Storm right in the center of Terran's army.
Colossus need to pull back. Those Vikings are doing lots of damage. The SCVs are just going up and drilling at them.
This is going to be a real strong push for dfraz as he kills all but 1 Colossus and still has a very formidable force. And that's a GG from ACdC. So dfraz is going to take this 2-0 in a very, very strong position. It was very definitive, I would say.
Yep, definitely.
First PVT of the day. Terran comes out on top in a decisive manner. We'll see if we can get any of our competitors over here for a brief chat. We'll probably try and get into the next game relatively